Previously on MCC.
Hello, again, welcome to another episode of MCC. My name is Timothy, it's David, that is Larnisha, and today's episode we're going to be talking about prosperity preaching.
So it can't be 100%. So now, generally, what happens with a prosperity preacher is that there is a promise of some financial gain, typically, and if it doesn't happen, it's your fault. There's some kind of lack of faith, you didn't do something right, or you haven't given enough yet, or whatever the case is, it's going to be your fault. Not that what they said is not true. Now, just to be clear, prosperity preaching is a term that's coined by, I guess, people in I don't know who was the first to say it, but just to be clear, preaching the gospel is preaching prosperity. It just doesn't have to have anything to do with money or materials. But the gospel you believe, the gospel we preach, is a prosperous one, because the end of the story is we're in heaven with God. That is the ultimate prosperity. Okay. And so, making sure you distinctively define the terms is important when you say prosperity preacher, what that actually means to you, and the term means. But the gospel is a prosperous gospel. Okay. The Lord just doesn't promise everything you want in this life. In fact, Jesus promises the opposite, that you will suffer because of the gospel. He continuously said that those of you who follow me actually have to bear a cross. And the cross represents suffering. And so any gospel that does not honestly portray what happens in this world when you trust in Jesus, again, is a false gospel and a false preaching, false teaching. And I think that what we have coined the idea of prosperity gospel is it falls into line with that. Let me say something about this. I believe that a pastor who teaches the gospel and does well leading his congregation, or does the best he can, ought to have everything he wants. If he got 10 cars, it doesn't have anything to do with, shouldn't have anything to do with, as long as he haven't stole the money from the church, it'll be all right. If he takes his money from this, now most of what many of the guys with mega churches, they don't get salaries from their churches anymore. They make their money on books and speaking engagements and all that. They make thousands and thousands of dollars from stuff that doesn't even come from the church. And so, because people have things, preachers have things, it's not a, that shouldn't be I know, now I don't know about 5 cars, but I know a few preachers in our cities that have several nice cars, and from Rolls Royce to Porsches to whatever, and the two that I'm thinking of right now, they when they got to those churches, there were very few members, very few. I'm talking about under 20. You know, now they 500-600 strong, and a lot of it was because of the leadership of these men and following God's guide, and the Lord blessed it. And as the Lord blesses the church, the man who leads the church ought to be blessed also. And so, and whatever, and this principle is for whatever size church. Whatever you give to the pastor, that's his to do.